Does anyone out there remember the Krypto the Superdog? It's just remember the intro. I wanted to play the song so badly. Krypto the Superdog, Krypto the Superdog. It's a old cartoon from Cartoon Network, and it also came on Kids WV, Saturday Night Cartoons, but it was originally on Cartoon Network. And this is a character request for Nickelodeon All Stars more from you guys. And I put together some yet more ideas for this character. And this individual character is all about Krypto the Superdog, and a little bit of background of a little bit of a story for who he is and where he comes from. He's Superman's pet dog. And I don't know if anyone out there has remembered. And if you look him up, you can look the show up here on YouTube if you want to. You can find different clips. You can find different episodes. So I was able to reference some of those episodes and be able to find certain things that he's capable of. And he's basically like Superman. Everything that Superman can do, Krypto the Superdog can do. But he's just a dog. So that's the only difference. So he's the hero. He's the main protagonist from Krypto the Superdog, if you haven't already figured that out. And he was Superman's pet on Krypton before it was destroyed. And that was the whole story of how he ended up crash landing into someone's home and being able to be adopted. And he had a secret identity as Krypto the Superdog and protecting Metropolis from the evildoers and other antagonists from the show who was trying to either steal gems or just have their way and just have different devious plans to take over Metropolis, and just so many things that he would do to protect the city. And even though he was a normal dog, he was able to be a normal dog and be able to protect the city and keep his secret identity as Krypto the Superdog. And he has the big difference between Krypto and Superman. He has way more. He has He has better senses of hearing and senses of smell, and he also shares Superman's moral values and feelings. And he's just almost just like Superman, basically, just like I said. But we're just gonna bring the roster up so everybody can see the characters in the game while we talk about the ideas.
Training.
Now, I'm not sure if he's gonna be in this game. I'm not sure if that's possible, but it's just a character request, a character wish list, and anything can happen. They can get anybody in these games if they can get the rights to them, and you never know who's going to show up. And that's why I think the element of surprise is still there, and it's still early in the new year, so anything can really happen for big changes in the game. We already know about with crossplay, the voice acting, and all that stuff that's coming out very soon for the game. But that's just a little bit of backstory I wanted to talk about for Krypto, for some people who might not know about him. So he's basically just as strong as Superman, and he's basically he has all his different powers. But we're going to get into his moveset later on in the video. But let's start with the stages, and I already brought up Metropolis, which was the main setting of which he ended up before Krypton was destroyed, and he ended up having to send Krypto away from the planet to keep his pet dog safe, and he ended up getting picked up and adopted by a different family in the cartoon. So Metropolis is where the show took place, and it's where the city he was protecting and keeping all the other fellow dogs and other everybody, basically from citizens and everybody from the whole city of Metropolis safe. So some ideas I came up with is Superman Elementary School, which is the school that that Kevin went to. He was the student that, or basically the kid that decided to adopt Krypto for this particular show. And I'm gonna get into some other stuff that I came up with. But I think the main stage for this particular DLC for Krypto the Superdog would have to be Metropolis. And it's just from the TV show. They can just have the city. It can be almost open map where you can see the different parts of the buildings in Metropolis, and in the background, cars moving about. And if not, the Superman Elementary School could also be an ideal place where everybody can do battle at for an ideal stage. But that's all I could really come up with as far as some ideas for DLC stages that can be associated with Krypto the Superdog if he was to come out for this game. So now some alternate costumes. I did some digging and also came up with one of them. I completely forgot that he wore a space helmet in one of the episodes. Some of the episodes he does. In Puppy Problems episode, the Puppy Problems episode I'm referencing, for example, and you can find that episode here on YouTube, which is crazy, and just different clips of the different things that he's capable of for Krypto. So the space helmet would be an identical alternate costume, but just like I always say, let's take a look at some of these characters. See how you can just change the hats? You just they change colors. You could switch and flip and have Krypto wear the helmet, and he can just be without the helmet itself with the space helmet from the show. And then I also came up with this one that wasn't part of the show. He always had his cape on, so maybe he could still fly without his cape, I'm sure. But maybe that could be an alternate skin where he doesn't have the cape. That'll be something cool to be added for Krypto. So he could be the dog without the cape, and just like they say for the saying, not all heroes wear capes. See what I'm saying? So that could be something for him as a brand new alternate costume, as an idea outside of his space helmet. He can be space helmet Krypto and still be doing some damage on the battlefield that he wore in several episodes, like Puppy Problems, that I end up finding out and watching a little bit. I ended up getting lost watching some of these episodes. But just it brought back so many memories, and I really like this show. So now we got the costumes, we talked about the stages, now let's talk about the taunts. And I came up with some catchphrases. I ended up finding out what he says. And it's funny because that same episode I talked about, Puppy Problems, is where he wore the space helmet. He was being called by the Dog Stars, and he was ready to suit up. He put on his space helmet and he said, "Ruff Ruff in the way!" That's what he says when he took off to meet up with the space dog stars, or the dog stars in general, who also have their own little set of superheroes, superpowers. And then another one that he says for a cool catchphrase, he say, "It's Superdog time." So those are the ones that I came up with for his taunts. So that'll be cool. I can really see that in this, even if it's not in this game, I can still visually see that in whatever game he ends up being in. But a losing animation I came up with is when I'm referencing the episode Bat Hound for a day. Bat Hound was almost like the Batman version. It was like a bat dog or a bat hound. See, because his name was Ace. That was in the show for Krypto the Superdog, and they were always some episodes they would work together, and they would fight off crime and save the city of Metropolis and protect them. So he would be side by side with Bat Hound. But Bat Hound for a day was an episode where he got hit by some kind of magical jewel. A couple pair, I think it's different animals. They were trying to steal and rob the jewelry store, and one particular gem weakened Krypto, and it caused him to collapse. And he's like, "I'm weak as a puppy," and he ended up getting weaker by the staircase. But Bat Hound had to, or basically Ace, his name is Ace, had to come to his rescue to make sure he was okay, and they ended up getting away just temporarily. But then they ended up leaving all those jewels behind. But there's one particular jewel that ended up having some kind of magical effect on him. It's like it was kryptonite or something like that. They end up making him weak. So when he loses, when he on the screen, he could slowly collapse to the ground, and he can say, "I'm weak as a puppy." Something that'll be a perfect losing animation. Didn't come up with a winning animation. Maybe he can just be posing in the air while he's flying, smiling, staying afloat. But I'm not sure what his winning animation could be. But I thought that would be a perfect losing animation for Krypto the Superdog. So I couldn't come up with anything else for that. But now, just to wrap up, we're just going to talk about the moveset. So just like I said, he's just like Superman. He has all his identical powers. He can do everything Superman can, from flying, heat vision, and all that stuff. And we're going to get it started. So I came up with some other moves as well, and just watching from the show and different episodes. I'm gonna reference some of those same episodes that I brought up. You can get to see what he can do in the actual cartoon if you haven't seen Krypto the Superdog before. And you can, not even just the episodes, the intro theme, the quick intro is like 60 seconds. You can see him use some of his powers in the intro. You wouldn't even have to really watch an episode in full to really understand what he's capable of and how powerful he is. So his heat vision I came up with as a projectile attack that could be shot across the screen, and he also can fire in mid-air. In the same episode I just finished talking about, a Bat Hound for a Day, that episode, he was in mid-air and he was able to shoot one of those enemies, one of the bad guys, with his heat vision in mid-air. See what I'm saying? So that'll be something cool to be referenced in this game, and if he ends up in this game, and I could really see him using that as a move, his heat vision. And since he can fly, I came up with his ability to hover, almost similar to how Princess Peach can in Super Smash Bros. Did that with some other characters as well that can fly, but he can also be able to hover. You can see him hovering in the air when he's using his heat vision. So I figured Krypto can hover similar to Princess Peach. And then the difference is he can have his cape flowing in the wind and have that like a little animation for when he's in the air. That'll be cool to really to see. So it'll only last a few seconds, maybe be almost identical to the time. Just a couple of seconds to stay in midair, to hover. It also can be combo with his recovery, but I'm gonna get into that later. But oh, actually no, right now I've been really following my notes. So it can combo his hover, can combo with his Superdog recovery move that I came up with. So he can fly in the air for a few seconds to give him that boost to get back onto the stage, and you can actually see him fly and take off in the Funny Business episode that you guys can look up if you want to see him take off. And he also does it when he gets called by the Dog Stars, when he says "Ruff Ruff in the way." He takes off. He can use that same animation, that flight move to be able to get back onto the stage to recover. Sure, it won't last long, but you can still be able to knock him even when he's after his flight ends, because he's going to be vulnerable trying to land. But something else I came up with, his dog senses. So since he has better senses than Superman, I'm sure this could probably be utilized as a good little dodge move that could be used to avoid attacks. And he can be invisible for a split second. Almost something similar to how Nigel Thornberry, I like playing as him. He has a quick little dodge move where he's invincible for a split second. He can go right through the opponent and phase through projectiles. It could be something similar to how he does it. Not the same motion, but it can have the same sort of mechanics for his dog senses to be able to dodge a incoming projectile attack. And he'll be able to pick up on it because he's quick. He's quick with his reflexes. So that's his dog senses move. And then a particular episode that I referenced with this, he sensed the dogs that were crossing the street. It was a busy street and all those cars were just driving by. They could have got all ran over. So in the episode Dem Bones, that's what it's called, Dem Bones. And you guys can check this out as well. He was able to sense that these dogs are getting ready to cross the street, and he flew over there so fast, picked them all up, and got them to safety on the other side of the road before they could get hit by the car. So it just shows that he has super senses, and he can use his dog senses in the fight to be able to give him some kind of an edge to see what attacks are coming and be able to dodge projectiles and stuff like that, even regular offensive attacks. So another move I came up with is Superdog Kit, where he can launch the opponent. It could be a nice little strong attack. It could be a great neutral strong attack, and you can see him launch the whoopee cushion, as silly as it sounds, in the Funny Business episode. He can use that same sort of move to be a strong attack. So a Superdog kick to do some damage to the opponent. And now, just like Superman, see how Superman has super breath, Krypto has his own. So in the episode, Meet the Dog Stars episode, you were able to see him showcase it, and maybe I'm sure in many other episodes, he can use powerful winds that can be created to knock the enemy back. And I referenced, and it made me think about Lincoln Loud because he has the water gun, or the super soaker. It makes me think of the old days, using the super soakers, spray your friends up, hit them with water guns, having some fun during the summer. But it makes me think of Lincoln Loud's water gun. So he has that knockback. Krypto can have it can be a better version of Lincoln Loud's water gun with more range to blow the opponent back and knock them back off the stage, and you can edge guard that way for some people who want to really pick them up professionally to really be able to have an advantage. And they can also make a charge, so he can just he just do something like that. Something like that. He just blow the opponent back. But he does that in the show. And you can just check out the episode and look up Meet the Dog Stars episode. You can really see him use his powerful winds to knock the enemy back. And then if it's not used to knock back, it can also freeze the opponent. So it could be either or maybe they can give him both of them. Maybe it's not too overpowered. Maybe you can give them both, 2 different variations. One the player can switch between the super breath or the freeze breath, where it can freeze the target for a limited amount of time to leave them wide open for it to be launchable and to get rid of them right off the bat. But I feel like the knockback and just the different variation of Lincoln Loud's water gun with his super breath would probably be the better option, because maybe freezing people might be a little bit overpowered. But those are just 2 different ideas I came up with his super breath, because Superman also has it too. He has something similar to it in the episode. But 2 more moves I came up with: a diving paw attack, and I'm going to reference the character Leonardo, because Leonardo has a dive kit. He can have like a diving paw attack in midair, almost similar to the same speed of Leonardo. Just difference is it's just going to be a diving paw attack that he can just be able to quickly dive down on the opponent and do some damage, and then it can create some combos. So that's a character reference that I thought of with Leonardo's dive kit that he does in this game. And then, last but not least, his Superdog reflexes can be used to charge the enemy with his extreme speed, because he has quick reflexes, he's super fast, and he's strong. So Krypto is definitely a force to be reckoned with in this game. Krypto the Superdog. So I think his Superdog reflexes can be like a charge attack, or maybe something like a running attack, where you run at the opponent and then you can just go after him. So it could be a running light attack, it can be a running charge attack, something like that, with his Superdog reflexes. So that's all I can really come up with for his moveset. Because I touched upon everything that almost Superman can do, but Krypto the Superdog actually does it in the episodes in the show. But he has his own senses of hearing and smell and different things that he can track down and be able to utilize his strength and his superpowers to deal with any sort of bad guy that's trying to threaten Metropolis. So that would be something cool and very ideal. I really like doing this request, and this show brought back so many memories. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it into Nickelodeon, but it just shows that all these different characters have different potential. There's so many characters that they can pick up on and be able to select for some different worlds and different universes to get involved in the fight and be a part of this roster. And I think people will really purchase them. Maybe some people who probably didn't even watch the show might be fans of Superman and might end up buying the character himself. See what I'm saying? So just because you haven't watched the show, you probably love DC, and looking at him, you're already going to get the Superman vibes from just the logo and just on his cape. People are going to buy him anyway and play as him. But I hope he does get implemented somewhere if it's not Nickelodeon All-Stars. But those are my character ideas. So I had so much fun with this request, and just watching the episodes all over again, I got lost. It just brought back so many memories. But let me know what you guys think of Krypto the Superdog. And it's so many great characters. It's just very nostalgic. It just brought back so many memories from the old Cartoon Network era.